مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
This is Mr. Osama, welcoming you back with a new video related to the reading skill in the exam. Our topic for today is cohesive devices, or it could be called cohesion techniques. But as usual, before we go ahead with our lesson, let's watch a video of a reciter of the Holy Quran reciting some verses which are related to today's topic. Enjoy and understand.
واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون.
Allah is the greatest. Indeed, this man's way of reciting is heart-touching, and I hope its impact on us is permanent. Now, let's move on to introduce today's topic. Today, we're going to study cohesive devices, or cohesion techniques. So, our objective is as follows. By the end of this video, you should be able to identify cohesive devices, which are reference, conjunctions, ellipsis, substitution, lexical cohesion, and enumeration. So let's start. Cohesion. What's cohesion? Cohesion refers to the way we use vocabulary and grammatical structures to make connections between ideas within a text. Cohesion helps to create coherence, الترابط. In other words, cohesion is a property of a text by means of which different parts of a text are linked and connected. Watch the following video and I hope it gives you a clear idea about cohesion. The first cohesion technique is reference. Referencing is when you refer to someone or something you stated earlier without having to constantly repeat it. You can do this by using pronouns or demonstratives. This question is very common in exams, asking you about an underlined word and what it refers to. Today, we're going to study the two tools of reference, pronouns and demonstratives. Pronouns. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is a word used to substitute a noun to make a phrase less repetitive. Compare these two paragraphs. Joe is my brother. Joe is 16 years old and goes to school. Joe likes to play soccer and basketball. Joe has many friends. His friends like Joe because Joe is nice and fun. That was the first paragraph. Now, read the second one and compare. Joe is my brother. He is 16 years old and goes to school. Joe likes to play soccer and basketball. He has many friends. They like him because he's nice and fun. After reading the two paragraphs, which one seems to be more coherent for you? The first one or the second one? And why? Yes, right? The second one is more coherent because it uses pronouns. Now it's time to have a look at the pronouns list on the next slide. Demonstratives. Demonstratives are words that show which person or thing is being referred to. Demonstratives in English are four: this, that, these, those. A demonstrative adjective modifies a noun. Example: this apple is good. I like those houses. In the examples here, this modifies the word apple, and it refers to it. And those modifies houses. Now let's move to the second cohesive technique. The second cohesion technique is using conjunctions. You can say linking words. A conjunction is a part of speech that is used to connect. Connect what? Words, phrases, clauses, or sentences. Can you give me some examples of conjunctions or linking words? Try to remember. If not, have a look at the following table that shows some conjunctions. Good luck. Ellipsis. Ellipsis is the omission from a sentence or other construction. The omission of one or more words that would complete or clarify the construction. Ellipses save space or remove material that is less relevant. They are useful in getting right to the point without delay or distraction. Rule number 1. Use ellipses, the 3 dots, when omitting a word, phrase, line, paragraph, or more from a quoted passage. Look at this example of a sentence with full quotation. Today, after hours of careful thought, Toby agreed to marry Desmond. Have a look at the sentence with ellipsis. Today, Toby agreed to marry Desmond. Rule number 2, ellipses can occur in any place of the sentence, in the middle or between the sentences. Here is another example for you. I like to interview people sitting down. This sentence is with ellipses. Without ellipses, it could be, I like to interview people who are sitting down. Or, I like to interview people while I am sitting down. Or, I like to interview people while we are sitting down. The fourth cohesion technique is substitution. Simply, substitution means to substitute a word with another. But what's the difference between reference and substitution? The difference between reference and substitution is that substituted items are always exchangeable by items or by the items they stand for. I mean, you can use both instead of one another. But with reference, the presupposed items can almost never replace the items which refer to them. Now, let's talk about substitution types. We have nominal substitution, verbal substitution, and the clausal substitution. Let's start with nominal substitution. As we said before, there are 3 types of substitution: nominal, verbal, and clausal. In the nominal substitution, the most typical substitutional words are one and ones, and they substitute nouns. For example, do you want the blankets? Yes, I'll take one. So, one here is a nominal substitution for blanket. So instead of saying, I will take a blanket, I said, I'll take one. The second kind of substitution is verbal substitution. In the verbal substitution, the most common substitute is the verb do. For example, did you sing? Yes, I did. Here in this example, we use did instead of a verb. That's why it's called verbal substitution. So, did was used as a substitute for the verb sing or sang. The final kind of substitution is called the clausal substitution. In the clausal substitution, an entire clause is substituted. For example, the blankets needed to be cleaned. So, the answer is, or the response was, yup, they did. Did here was used instead of needed to be cleaned. So it was used instead of a clothes. That's why this substitution is called clausal substitution. Now it's time to recognize or to identify a different type of cohesion techniques. Lexical cohesion. The word lexical is an adjective that refers to words of a language. And of course, the word cohesion means the act or condition of sticking together. Therefore, lexical cohesion refers to how a text and its ideas are held together through different kinds of word associations between the vocabulary or lexical items in the text. Lexical cohesion is achieved through arranging words in different kinds of taxonomic or classifying relationships according to their meanings. The most important taxonomic relationships are repetition, synonymy, antonymy, and collocation. Repetition is clear. You repeat the same word along the discourse to emphasize, remind, highlight, clarify, etc. For example, there was a cat on the table. The cat was smiling. Here, the word cat was repeated to emphasize its existence. Synonymy. Synonymy is the relationship between two words that have same sense or same meaning. So a synonym is the word of the same part of the speech which have similar meaning but not identical in meaning. Look at the example here. He got a lot of presents from his friends and family. All the gifts were wrapped in colored paper. So here the two words presents and gifts have the same meaning, so they are called synonyms. Antonymy. Antonymy is a relationship of meaning opposition that may hold between two words. So antonyms can be defined as words which are opposite in meaning. For example, warm and cold, big and small, fast and slow. All these words are antonyms or opposites. They have the opposite meaning of each other. Collocation. A collocation is two words or three or whatever that go together. They are used by native speakers and they don't go with any fixed rule. For example, these two words, crystal clear, as in the example on the left, are used together to show that the water is pure. Look at the example. The water is crystal clear and drank without any treatment. Here is another example for you. Good enough. This work is simply not good enough. So these words go together to give a simple meaning. The last cohesion technique is enumeration. Look at the dictionary entry here. Enumeration is the action of mentioning a number of things one by one. It can be identified by using linking words that are used for listing. For example, first, second, next, then, after that, and so on. To sum up our lesson for today, we have to go practical and ask this question. Ask ourselves a question. How can this video help us in the exam? To be honest, there are two types of questions concerning this video in the exam. The first one is shown here for you, and it is related to referencing. I think this question is common for you. Look at the question. What does the underlined word in paragraph 1, 2, 3, whatever, refer to? So how can I answer this question? You need to spot the place of the underlined word and identify it correctly and read the sentence before it so you can choose the correct answer. The second kind of questions concerning this video is a CR question. Look at the example here. The writer has shown a great ability to make the text effectively coherent. From the text, mention one cohesive technique and support your answer with evidence. So, here is a table which has two spaces, and you have to fill in these two spaces with the correct words. For example, you can find reference as a cohesive technique, and you have to find example for this reference. I wish you all the best. Till we meet again, goodbye and thank you for your attention. See you.